Hello Rahul. I
Oh, hi.
received a huge consignment from you.
Arvind, right?
Yeah,
One of my retailers. Okay. Nice.
I had received a huge consignment from you from yesterday, and half of it went waste. All of the vegetables, all the tomatoes, the potatoes are fully gone bad. I mean, the losses I've incurred because of this are huge.
Losses. Actually, we sell the same vegetables to other retailers. So what's?
Yeah, but it literally takes 2 or 3 days for us to receive your products. Can't you send your vegetables based on that fact?
Oh, like we receive a huge pile of fruits and vegetables. Like how could we predetermine? Okay, this is gonna last for a longer time. This is gonna last for a shorter
This
time.
is like half of my business going waste of this.
Like how can we sort of determine? Okay, this pile of fruit is gonna last longer. This is gonna attain freshness within a shorter time. It's gonna attain freshness within a longer time.
Is
How
it
do you
as
expect us to determine such things?
is it there a solution to this problem?
This is exactly the kind of problem that we are aiming to solve. Our concept relies on this very particular problem. There is rampant food wastage in India because of the inefficient supply chain system in India. Let's understand the unique facets of this problem and understand it from the user's perspective as well as from other perspectives.
Hey Karan, we had
Hi.
seen you in our social media handles.
Yes, we came to know about your research and those stuff. I think those things will help us eliminate a lot of food wastage, a lot of it will help us in more economic aspects as well. Because
Lot
the
of
wholesalers and their retailers, the complaint that we receive from them is that like most of the vegetables and the organic products that we deliver to them gets rotten or gets
Yeah.
wasted within a week, within a couple of days itself. This.
This is actually a very huge problem. I've been facing lots of losses due to this, especially in these hard economic times. I feel any such solution how to solve this problem will be greatly beneficial.
Yeah. So I'm going to explain you a concept that I have developed, and I really hope that it will be useful for you to minimize your food wastage and also the inefficiency in the food chain supply, which is prevalent.
That's great.
So,
let's proceed.
I'll
Let's go.
I'll get you through my PPT.
Okay.
So our problem of interest was about food analytics and packaging. So when we started thinking about this problem, so I was thinking, where can I use this problem and stuff like that. So then I started thinking about stakeholders. Should it be during the customer side or should it be in the supply side? Then I thought it makes more sense to help people like you who are actually supplying the food materials to reduce the wastage. So when I break the problem statement into parts, that is why packaging and how to integrate, I get some ideas. So my customer is someone like you who supplies goods to the retailers. And through my product, I will be able to supply goods that do not have an expiry date to the correct location in that particular time so that you can maximize your profits.
Yes,
So-
I think that could be very much useful for me, like the
Hmm.
wholesalers, because
Yeah.
we don't actually we don't have the technology to just segregate our goods based on like whether this should be more fresh during a particular time or which amount of goods or which category of fruits out of a particular stock would be would ripe within a
Yeah.
few days, which would attain its maximum freshness over a
Hmm.
particular period of time, so that you can like sort of optimize them by minimize the wastage
Yeah, that
by
is
optimally
exactly.
sending to multiple retail stores depending upon the distances and other factors.
Yeah.
I'm curious about how you're gonna I'm curious how to explore this with different perspectives. Can you go more on that?
Yeah, I'll take you through different perspectives and also explain my problem of interest. So, if you ask me how it helps traders like you, I would say there is a rampant food wastage in our country which should be eliminated. So, what my product will do is it will have something called a freshness rate. So, you take a sample of a fruit or vegetable or whatever it may be without an expiry date, and you use the device, then you will get some kind of a freshness rate. So using this freshness rate, you will be able to say where it's going to go next. You got it?
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So I can, like-
Rahul will be greatly benefited by that.
Yeah.
So that I can like sort of predict, okay, I have to sell this quantity of the food to this retailer so that it will attain the freshness
Yeah.
in that particular amount of time, so that
I think that idea can even help me by prioritizing the fresh fruits to be displayed
Yeah.
first,
So-
and the rawer ones to be placed in the inventory.
Hmm.
So that would help me also save waste.
So
that is
it
why I think
comes.
a very great idea for our business.
It comes with one
Okay.
more benefit, if you're doing this, you'll get a better recognition and that good feeling among your customers. So people would
Yeah.
buy your goods more.
I think the trust in our brand will increase
The,
with using this product.
reliability.
Yeah, reliability, their trust will increase.
That's great.
So put in like simple words, I would say our concept is to develop an economical device that can determine the freshness approximately and also an expiration date, so that you can cope up with the inefficiencies in the supply mechanism. Yeah, so when I talk about who is my customer, I told you one is food distributors, or even I had a thought about restaurants and mega kitchens. They can also use
Okay,
this.
how would that work out?
Yeah, that I'll explain in the coming.
Okay, fine.
So the thing is, IIFT under the government of India, they released a report in which they said that there is a prevalent lack of standards in food maturity. That is, they don't know when the food will mature, because of which they don't know when they have to import, where they have to import, etc. So what our product is doing is it's just going to fulfill that, right? So distributors across the chain like you would experience productivity, compatibility, and that would benefit you.
Yeah, I think like in the end of the day, the key word is effectiveness.
I
Yes.
think that is the major unstated need that is prevalent among, I think, almost all the wholesalers and the distributors.
So you asked me, right, how it will help restaurants and mega kitchens. So as you see in my slide, you can say that this freshness amount, if we give it to the mega kitchens, like they make new fruit every day, like it's decided on a daily basis. So if you're able to do this, it will be able to tell you approximately what fruits you choose, and the meal's output will be optimal if you choose the correct kind of food that you.
Wow.
That is actually a pretty nice idea.
Yeah.
In fact, in my newest branch, in my business, we are also thinking to open up a mega kitchen and
That's
a
nice.
huge restaurant chain. I think this can be used even applied there.
Yeah, so you
So-
get double benefits.
Double benefit. Yeah, that's
Okay.
impressive,
That's
correct?
great. We're just more contributing towards the economic aspects and also about the
Huh,
food.
that's
Saving food is a noble deal, actually.
Hmm.
noble deal. Of course, we get money as well.
That's business.
Yeah.
That's business.
Okay. So the next thing about, we also thought about the customers, like how can we benefit the customers. What we thought is we can make a personalized kind of suggestion app which will say based on the freshness what food they can cook on each day. But do you think, what is the challenge do you think over there?
I think the larger problem is like how do you reach a lot of people? Like let's assume like in my store there are at least 1,000 people who visit every day.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you would be able to serve to each and every customer who comes there, and how our product is going to earn money by doing that.
Yeah, and one more thing is that people are some people may not have that education, the capability.
That is
They may
also
not
true.
even have the interest, right? So
Hmm.
I think that
How
that
making
would not be
money
that.
out of it is a big
Yeah, it's a
question.
difficult.
But it can definitely be a
Useful stuff, but according to business, it may not be that efficient.
yeah, but definitely a path for which we can think about in the future.
Yes. So let me take you through different
So I
perspectives.
guess
Yeah.
like it's not it also probably increase the business as well, because the more effective things that you provide to the customer, the more customers would come. Obviously, business would increase, and the food wastage would reduce, right? Like obviously, for example, in a place of say shopkeeper sells 100 apples, in that like say 30%,
Hmm.
which is the average nation average,
Hmm.
30 apples get wasted.
Hmm.
But if we reduce it, we can reduce it to maximum like 2 to 5. It will increase the sales, increase the profit as well. I
Hmm.
think it's actually one of the biggest business
Yeah,
idea.
I think we should also try to do this in our upcoming ideas, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
our first priority is people like you, then restaurant, that's the second priority, and our third priority is about customers.
ultimately,
Yeah. Taking
the
your input, I'll
customers.
definitely try to do that.
yes.
Yeah,
So
we'll first focus on B2B business and then
Yes,
we'll show to
yes,
B2C.
exactly.
Yes.
So if we look at from another perspective, one, I already told you about distance, right? Based on the freshness, you will know whether I have to give to a nearby market or a distant market. That is one thing. Second
Also
thing
about
is
the time in which
yeah.
you take, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the sales intent. So if you're able to know how fresh it is and where you're going to give it, obviously your sales will increase. What do you think?
Yeah, that is actually true because me having a retail outlet
Hmm.
at nearly 100 miles from where Rahul's
Yeah.
wholesale shop is.
shops.
I think
Yeah.
he can prioritize his goods according to whether we should get it at an earlier stage or a shop closer by would get it at a later stage.
So
All-
what time to deliver each product to each outlet?
So
That's
that-
the biggest
Yes.
question.
so
Yes.
that
The
the
time
pro-
plays
That
a
is
very
exactly.
important
That is
So-
exactly
and
what.
that-
that's exactly what your product is predicting, and that's serves a huge importance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
this ensures that the vegetable or the fruit that arrives at us is at its peak of freshness.
Yes, exactly.
So to explain this problem in more detail, I just take some more perspectives. So if you look at from the society as a whole, you can say that it ensures better food management, and as I said, food waste will also be reduced. If I look at the consumer side, as I said before, again, that consumers will have better reliability of your stores, and it's also going to be more economical for them, right? They're not going to experience any wastage of the food after they buy your food.
Even for
Right.
us, it will be helpful
Yeah.
because we won't have any losses.
Yeah. So let us look at there's some of the technical concepts which I want to discuss with you. So one thing is, of course, you will have a large food sample, so we won't be able to test with all the food that you have. So we are going to take in samples.
Yeah, so
like
we
some
can
sampling.
focus on for
Let's start with some few samples,
Yeah,
and later
yeah.
on.
we can
Later
focus
on,
on very readily
And,
perishable vegetables and
ah,
fruits.
yeah.
So based on those samples, we'll be able to estimate their freshness, and we can just generalize it to the entire sample. This is the first thing. Second thing is, I am taking the freshness, that concept, to be a kind of measurable term. So there'll be some kind of an output which will display the freshness in that particular device, right? So
So basically, you're giving a quantitative measure for
Hmm.
freshness.
yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, I remember my class lecture, like where we define intelligence as a quantity rather than just a quality. So I
Ah.
thought something like that we could bring here. And
Bringing
if you
the levels of intelligence.
yes, exactly. So if you try to map it with the levels of intelligence, that would help us understand the product better. So if you talk about information handling, we will keep a track of like previous records, like how much time this fruit got ripe and stuff like that, and develop some kind of a model so that it is accurate enough to predict for the present data. That is one thing. Second thing is problem notification, where we, of course, our product is going to have some sensors, and using those sensors, you can have some approximate expiration date. That's the second level.
Yeah, so making it user friendly would do a great deal of good for both of our businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
And third thing about decision making. So we are also trying to do this part. That is, will it be able to make a decision on its own based on the
Yeah,
freshness?
that's the
percentage?
highest level of intelligence.
Yeah, that's the highest level.
You just have to
So,
incorporate it
mm.
at the highest level.
I think this would be more useful for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Mm.
like you can optimize our solutions with.
Yes. So thank you very much. I hope you really liked my project.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, really.
We'll surely be your first customer.
Yeah, thank you very much.
In fact,
So-
I would say let's all come together and
Yeah.
start working on this project so that
Yes.
all of us can prosper together.
Yes.
And thank you
And it's actually a great pleasure to meet you. And
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank you.
much
Thank
for
you so much.
explaining all these things together. Thank you.